Good morning, students. So the first chapter, atomic structure, is completed in the last class. Now we move towards the second chapter in this semester, that is classification of elements and periodicity in properties. So this chapter clearly we divided into two categories. One is classification of elements. After discussing this, we can move towards periodicity in properties. First, go to the classification of elements. It is very clearly understand the topic classification of elements. We need to classify the elements. What was the need to classify the elements? Why do we classify the elements? So, generally, during the development of science, so many discoveries are made. In the chemistry also, around in the end of the 17th century, only 31 elements are discovered. When 31 elements are discovered, at that time, it is very easy to study the properties of those 31 elements as well as the compounds formed by the 31 elements. But the later part of the 18th century, the number of elements almost become double. That means initially 31 is there, it almost become double, means 63 elements were discovered. When as the number of elements are increases, it is not easy to study the properties of all the elements, and also it is not easy to remember the properties of all the elements and their respective compounds. In this situation, the scientists were started to think about a simple way to study and remember the humorous properties of the elements and their compounds. So that gives rise to the concept classification of elements. Okay. How do they classify the elements? What is the basis for the classification of elements is? The base for the classification of elements is arrange the elements in such a way that similar elements placed together while dissimilar elements are separated. That means the elements which are similar in properties are placed together, dissimilar in properties are separated from there. That is the basis for the classification of elements. On that basis, so we are classify the elements and arrange in the tabular form. So we get in a tabular form that is called periodic table. What is periodic table? The arrangement of the known elements according to their properties in a tabular form. That is called as periodic table. So, like that, the periodic table, we are arranging the elements. How this periodic table was developed time to time by the different scientists, that is we discuss now the historical development of the periodic table. So some of the important contributions made by the different scientists in the development of the periodic table, they are Daubernet-Troit's Decon-Courtiers classification, Newland's law of octaves, Luther-Mayer's arrangement, Mendeleev's periodic law. So that these five scientists made important contributions, okay, in the development of the periodic table. So we'll discuss one by one. First, go to the Dauberner triads. In the Dauberner triads, classify the elements into group of three elements. Whatever the elements are available at that time, in that elements, the three elements are grouped together. In order to group the three elements, so what are the conditions are needed? The two conditions. First one, the three elements must similar in properties, and the atomic weight of the middle member of each triad is very close to the arithmetic mean of the other two elements. Based on these two, the three elements grouped together, that group we called triad. It was try to group the three elements, but it is not work out for all the elements. For example, let us take here lithium, sodium, potassium. These three elements are similar in properties, and the atomic weight of the sodium is equal to the arithmetic mean of lithium and potassium. Even you can check it, 39 plus 7 divided by the 2, again we get 23. So like that, let us take the another triad, calcium, strontium, barium. Here also the atomic weight of strontium is the arithmetic mean of two elements weight, calcium and barium. The another triad is also given, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So here also chlorine, bromine and iodine are similar in properties, and arithmetic mean of bromine is almost equal to the atomic weight of chlorine and iodine. Like that, so it was grouped the three elements, but in all the cases, whatever the elements are available at that time, it was trying to group of three elements in all the cases, but it does not work out. It is work out for only few elements. That's why it is very soonly discarded. Then go to the next classification, that is Decon-Courtius classification. So he was arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weights in a cylindrical table of, and when he was arranging the elements in the increasing order of their cylindrical table, what does he observe? The periodic reoccurrence of properties occurs. Periodic reoccurrence of properties means the elements which are having the similar properties come at a certain regular intervals. That is called periodic reoccurrence. But however, it does not much attract the so many people, so that's why it is also will be very soonly discarded. Goes to the third development, Newland's law of octaves. Newland's also will be made a significant contribution in the development of the periodic table. What is the base for this Newland's law of octaves? Arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weights. While arranging that, every eighth element had properties similar to the first element. First we arrange the 7 elements. So after that, the 8th element will be fall under the first element. Again we move toward 8th to 14, then 15th element will be fall below the 8th one. Like that, every 8th element had the property similar to the first element. So you know very well about the musical notes in sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Till the ni 7. Again we get sa, 8th element, and the first element is same. Like that. So they are comparing. So this the Newland's law of octaves classification is also did not work out for all the elements. It is possible only up to calcium. So that's why it is also not giving the full contribution in the development of the periodic table, but it was giving the one clue, that is arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight. The elements which are having the similar properties or comes under one group. So that is the one clue was we can observe in the Newland's law of octaves. That's why he was awarded Davy Medal by the Royal Society of London. So then go to the next classification, that is Luther-Mayer's arrangement. Whenever the Luther-Mayer, so working on the classification of elements in the development of a periodic table, at the same time Mendeleev also will be starts working on the classification of elements. So in the Luther-Mayer's arrangement, he was studied the physical and chemical properties of the elements. So by studying the physical and chemical properties, what does he concluded is the properties of the elements are the function of their atomic weight. That means the properties of the elements always depends upon their atomic weights, and the elements with similar properties occupied almost a similar position. So these two will be concluded by studying their physical and chemical properties. So finally it says, when we are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, similarities in physical and chemical properties appear at regular intervals. So that was a conclusion made by Luther-Mayer's arrangement. Almost the same work has to be done by the Mendeleev's, but very unfortunate thing is the Luther-Mayer does not publish the work, but whereas the Mendeleev's publish the work, that's why the total credit goes to the Mendeleev's. Both are studied the properties of the elements. Based on the properties of the element, they concluded that so the properties of the elements are depending upon their atomic weight, so we can classify the elements based on their atomic weight. Like that they concluded. When we are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, similarities in physical and chemical properties appears at regular intervals. So that was also given by both Mendeleev as well as the Luther-Mayer. But however, so the Luther-Mayer does not publish the work, that's why the credit not goes to the Luther-Mayer. So the entire credit goes to the Mendeleev's. So when we move to Mendeleev's periodic law, so the difference between the Luther-Mayer and Mendeleev's is Luther-Mayer does not take into the broad range of the physical and chemical properties, but whereas the Mendeleev's can be studied at broader range of physical and chemical properties of the elements. So that is the difference between the Luther-Mayer and Mendeleev's. And other one is it was also will be depends upon the similarities in empirical formulas and properties of the compounds formed by the elements. But whereas the Luther-Mayer can only use the certain physical and chemical properties, but he was using the broad range of physical and chemical properties, as well as it was also depends upon the similarities of the empirical formulas and the properties of the compounds formed by the elements. He was choose both these two for classifying the elements. So based on that one, so he gave one law. That law is known as Mendeleev's periodic law. So by studying the properties, physical and chemical properties, as well as by observing the similarities in empirical formulas, what does he concluded is the physical and chemical properties are the periodic function of their atomic weight. That is the Mendeleev's periodic law. So that means when we are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, the elements with the similar properties reoccur at regular intervals. So that is the concept of the Mendeleev's periodic law. So when we are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, so we are arranging the elements, increasing order of their atomic weight. So while reaching a point, suppose if an element, that definitely will be similarities with any one of the elements in the, arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight. Definitely, so that element can be matched with the other elements. Suppose if you are arranging some 10 elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, the 11th element definitely will be coincided with any one of the other elements present in the first row. So in physical as well as the chemical properties. That means there is a cyclic fashion is there. So when you are arranging the elements like that, we get a tabular form that is called as a periodic table. So how is the periodic table of Mendeleev's is there? You can see how does he arrange the elements. So this is also there in your textbook. So while listen this class, so please keep the textbook beside and open that page number and you can observe. So because by observing this periodic table only we can understand certain important contributions made by the Mendeleev's as well as the defects of the Mendeleev's also. Okay, so like that it was arranged in that the horizontal rows are appeared and vertical columns are there. Generally horizontal rows are called periods, vertical columns are called groups. So how many periods are present in the Mendeleev's periodic table? 6. How many vertical columns that is called groups are present? 8 groups are present. And each group again is subdivided into 2 groups. They are marked as A and B. So while arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, he was fully recognizing the significance of periodicity. So what do you mean by that one? It means when we are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, definitely, so the elements which are having the similar in properties comes under one group. So that is, it was fully recognized. And sometimes, so it does not taken into the count of increasing order of their atomic weight. That means he was neglecting sometimes so the atomic weight while arranging the elements. What do you mean by that one? For example, for your understanding, I'll give the one example. You can also check in your Mendeleev's periodic table. Iodine is there. Iodine atomic weight is 126.9. Tellurium atomic weight is 127.6. Suppose if you are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, which element is comes first? Iodine is comes first. After the iodine, tellurium is there because iodine is having the low atomic weight. But in the Mendeleev's periodic table, iodine is comes after tellurium. First tellurium is there, after the tellurium, iodine is there. That means, does he arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight? No. So why he was neglecting so that atomic weight increasing order? Because the iodine is similar in properties with chlorine, fluorine and bromine. That's why the iodine is placed in the group of chlorine, fluorine and bromine. When you keep the iodine with chlorine and fluorine and bromine, definitely, so you can also justify. How does he justify? So the first one is, so the iodine is similar in properties with chlorine, fluorine and bromine. You can also give the one more reason. Whatever the atomic weight is determined iodine, that might be incorrect. So iodine is placed after tellurium. Like that, it was justified. Okay, so this is one of the drawback of Mendeleev's periodic table also. And so another important contributions from the Mendeleev's periodic table is So while arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, what we get? The elements which are similar in physical and chemical properties fall under one group. Suppose if you are arranging the Mendeleevs are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight. Suppose he had a one element in his hand. So that element is not similar in properties. Any one of the elements already arranged in the Mendeleev's periodic table. Then at that time, he was showing the courage to leave the empty space. That means, so there is an empty space was created. So in that one, he was not keeping any element, whatever it is there, because no element is similar in properties of either in physical or chemical with the above elements present in that group. That's why he was left certain spaces or gaps. So, and not only was left the spaces, he can also predicted the properties of the elements with the above elements already present in that group. So by that one, so definitely at a particular time, so the elements were discovered, that elements properties also given by that scientist, and whatever they given the properties, that properties are exactly same as the properties predicted by the Mendeleevs. That means when he was arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, so the no element is similar in properties with the already elements present in that group. In such cases, he was left the some space or gaps. And not only left the spaces or gaps, he can also predicted the properties of the elements which are comes under that space. And after discovery of that elements, and the scientist gave the properties also to that elements, and that properties are perfectly matched with the predicted properties by Mendeleevs of that elements. So for example, so the boron aluminum will be comes under one group, and the next to the aluminum the elements are not discovered, so that he was giving the space and he was giving the name to that left space is Eka aluminium. Eka aluminium, Eka means is a Sanskrit word. What is the meaning of Eka is next. Next to aluminium, that means he was giving the name, because at that moment the element was not discovered. So that so after a few years that element was discovered, and that element is gallium. After discovery of the gallium, definitely whoever discovered, they can also explain the properties of gallium. That properties are exactly coincided with the properties predicted by the Mendeleevs. So that not only in the case of gallium, it is also will be in the case of germanium is also, because carbon, silicon, next germanium. At the time of arrangement the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, germanium was not discovered. When the germanium is not discovered, so what we have to write there? Just we can write Eka silicon. He was giving the name to that element which is not discovered is Eka silicon. And not only give the name, you can also give the properties to the Eka silicon based on the carbon and silicon. After a few years, again the germanium is discovered. The germanium is similar in properties with the carbon and silicon. That's why the germanium is keep under carbon silicon. So then the properties of the germanium is exactly same as the predicted properties of Mendeleevs. So like that, so this is another significant contribution made from the Mendeleev in the development of the periodic table. And not only that one, so he was also giving some atomic masses are also corrected. For example, beryllium. Initially the mass of beryllium is 13.9, but later it is corrected to the 9. Like beryllium, indium, gold, platinum, etc. were also corrected the atomic masses. Then goes to the defects of the Mendeleev's periodic table. So position of hydrogen. So suppose if you are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, the hydrogen will be comes first. But when you see the properties of the hydrogen, it is similar to the halogens. Now where should I place? Whether it is keep with alkali metals or halogens. So that is a controversy is there. So that's why the position of hydrogen is could not explained by the Mendeleev's periodic table, because it is similar in properties with alkali metals as well as which one? Halogens. And position of isotopes. Isotopes means the atoms of the same element having the same atomic number but mass number is different. When mass number is different means definitely we need to show the position for isotopes, because we are arranging the elements based on which one? Increasing order of atomic weight. But the position of isotopes is not given by the Mendeleev's. And I already say while explaining the Mendeleev's periodic table, he was neglecting certain times the atomic mass while arranging the elements. So just now I said the tellurium and iodine. If you consider the atomic mass, definitely the iodine is comes first. After that, the tellurium. But which is comes first in the Mendeleev's periodic table? Tellurium is comes first. After that, iodine is there. Even though iodine is having the lower atomic mass than which one? Tellurium, because it was considered here physical and chemical properties similarities. And similarly, like tellurium and iodine, the anomalous pair is also there: argon and potassium, cobalt and nickel. So these three, argon, potassium, cobalt and nickel, tellurium and iodine, are called anomalous pairs. In these three cases, he was neglecting the atomic weight increasing order while arranging those elements. So these are the drawbacks of Mendeleev's periodic table. And the another important drawback of Mendeleev's periodic table. Generally, what is the base for classification of elements? The elements which are similar in properties are placed together, which are dissimilar in properties are separated from one another. But here he was also neglecting certain times. The similar properties elements are separated, dissimilar properties elements are grouped together. For example, copper and mercury, even though they are similar in properties, they are placed in different groups. Lithium, sodium and potassium are grouped with copper, gold and silver, even though their properties are different. And that means the elements which are similar in properties are placed in different groups. The elements which are having the same properties are the similar in properties of the elements are placed in different groups. Dissimilar in properties of the elements are grouped together. So that is the another drawback of the Mendeleev's. And when you are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, the periodicity, that means the similar in physical and chemical properties are comes under one group at a certain regular intervals. Why it is happened like that? That is could not explained by the Mendeleev's. And you know very well about the lanthanide and actinides. So he was not giving a separate positions to the lanthanides and actinides. So these are the drawbacks of the Mendeleev's periodic table. One is position of hydrogen is not clearly explained. Where should I place the hydrogen, whether with group of 1 alkali metals or halogens? And other one is position of isotopes. And while arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, sometimes he was not following increasing order of atomic masses. In the three cases, one is argon and potassium, second one is cobalt and nickel, third one is tellurium and iodine. That's why these three together we call another anomalous pairs. And the another drawback is the elements which are similar in properties are placed in different groups. the elements which are dissimilar in properties are placed in one group. This is the another drawback that is occurs in the case of the copper and mercury. Even though both are similar in properties, they are placed in different groups. Lithium, sodium, potassium is grouped with copper, gold and silver, even though they are differ in their properties. And when you are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, the elements which are similar in properties, okay, fall under one group at a certain regular intervals. Why it is happens like that, that is also could not explain. And he was also not giving a separate position to the lanthanides and actinides, that is also could not explain. So these are the drawbacks of the Mendeleev's periodic table. So based on that is that Mendeleev's periodic law, that is the physical and chemical properties are the periodic functions of their atomic weight. That means we are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight. If you are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, these are the drawbacks we get. So to overcome these drawbacks, then next immediately the Moseley was a scientist. So he was studied the relationship between the frequency of X-ray and atomic number. How this concept is useful in the development of the periodic table is, so a target was there, a target is made up of different elements, and a high energetic electron stream is striking this target which is made up of the elements, and immediately the different frequencies of X-rays are emitted. Then you can draw a plot frequency of X-rays which are emitted from the target which is made up of different elements versus atomic number, and another plot is also you can draw the frequency of X-rays versus atomic weight. So then you can find out which is proportional to the frequency of X-rays, that is you can find out, because so far we believe that the fundamental property of an atom is atomic weight. But after studying the frequency of X-rays versus atomic number, frequency of X-rays versus atomic weight plots, the Moseley concluded that the frequency of X-rays is directly proportional to atomic number, not to the atomic weight. So that's why finally concluded atomic weight is not a fundamental property of an atom. Atomic number is the fundamental property of atom. So by knowing that one, immediately the periodic law is changes, because the fundamental property of an atom is atomic number, means the physical and chemical properties are depends upon the which one? Atomic number, not on the atomic weight. That's why the whatever the periodic law given by the Mendeleevs, that will be modified. That modified periodic law is called as modern periodic law. What is modern periodic law? This law states that the physical and chemical properties are the periodic functions of their atomic number, but not which one? Atomic weight. Now you can arrange the elements in the increasing order of their atomic number. So the elements which are similar in properties, comes under one group at a certain regular intervals. So like that, if you are arranging the elements in the increasing order of their atomic weight, we get in a tabular form. That tabular form is called as which one? Periodic table. So like that, so the periodic table was developed, and this development of the periodic table so renewed the interest in the inorganic chemistry. So different scientists will be proposed the different periodic tables. Some they are concentrated mostly on chemical reactions and valency. Some scientists were concentrated on the electronic configuration of elements. So like that, the different scientists will be devised the different periodic tables from time to time by concentrating on different areas. So finally, whatever we are using now, that is the modern version of a periodic table, that is we called long form of the periodic table. So this is the most convenient and widely used and easy to understand periodic table So that is we are now going to discuss. So that is a long form of periodic table. So the long form of periodic table is constructed based on the repeating the electronic configuration of atoms. So when the elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic number, the elements which are having the similar electronic configuration in the valency shell, okay, those elements will becomes under one group. That is the base for the construction of this long form of periodic table. So like in the Mendeleev's periodic table, here also horizontal rows are there, vertical columns are there. Horizontal rows are called as periods, vertical columns are called as groups. Here one important point is, so how many groups are present, how many periods are present? There are 7 periods are present in the long form of periodic table and 18 groups are present. So when we see the each period, how many elements are present? 1 or 2 or 10 or 100. How many elements are present in each period? Okay, so that is we can easily calculate it by knowing the number of orbitals available in that first period. Because each period can be start with a new principal quantum number. You know very well the principal quantum number, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means if the first period means n is equal to 1, if the second period n is equal to 2, if the third period n is equal to 3. So once we know that the principal quantum number, it is easy to calculate how many subshells. From that subshell we can easily calculate it. So the number of orbitals. From that number of orbitals we can calculate number of electrons. That number of electrons is equal to the number of elements present in the period. So like that we can easily so say how many number of elements are present in each period. So that's why I will give one statement, that is each period constitute a series of elements whose have the same number of electron shell, that is n. That means each period can be start with a new principal quantum number. So then first we discuss in this one the periods. After that, so we discuss the groups. So now move towards the first periods. So there are 7 periods are there. Go to the first period. The elements of the first period, it is corresponding to the n is equal to 1. N is equal to 1. So how many L values are possible? 1 L value is possible. What is that L value? 0. L is equal to 0. If n is equal to 1, L is equal to 0. What is the subshell? 1s subshell. In the 1s subshell, how many orbitals are present? 1 orbital is present. Each orbital can accommodate how many electrons? Maximum 2 electrons. So that's why how many elements are present in the first period? 2 elements are present. What are that? They are hydrogen and helium. Once again, if n is equal to 1, the number of L values are possible 1, that is 0. If n is equal to 1, L is equal to 0. It represents the 1s subshell. 1s subshell having the only one orbital, that is 1s orbital. Each orbital maximum can accommodate 1 electron. How many electrons? 2 electrons. So that's why the 2 elements are possible. So that means one is 1s1 and another one is 1s2, like that. Then go to the elements of the second period. In the second period, starts with a quantum number n is equal to 2. If n is equal to 2, the number of L values are possible 2. What are that? 0, 1. L is equal to 0, L is equal to 1. If n is equal to 2, L is equal to 0, 2s subshell. If n is equal to 2, L is equal to 1, 2p subshell. Totally 2 subshells, 2s and 2p. In 2s subshell, 1 orbital. In 2p subshell, 3 orbitals are possible, because this is very clearly studied in the quantum numbers. So that if n is equal to 2, totally how many number of orbitals are possible? 4 orbitals are possible. So each orbital can accommodate how many electrons? 2 electrons. So 4 into 2, totally 8 electrons are present. That's why how many number of elements are present in the second period? 8 elements are present. So in the previous period, so the atomic number Z is equal to 1, it is started, Z is equal to 2 is ended, because that is consist of only 2 elements. After Z is equal to 2, what is the next one immediate element? Z is equal to 3. And in the second period, the element with atomic number Z is equal to 3 is starts and end with Z is equal to 10. Why? Because how many elements are present in the second period? 8 elements are present. So that's why the second period, okay, is corresponding to n is equal to 2. It consists of 8 elements. It starts from the atomic number Z is equal to 3 and end with Z is equal to 10. And go to the elements of the third period. So same like that, here also the third period, but one exception is there. If n is equal to 3, the number of L values are possible 3, 0, 1, 2. If n is equal to 3, L is equal to 0, 3s. n is equal to 3, L is equal to 1, 3p. n is equal to 3, L is equal to 2, 3d. 3s, 3p, 3d. Totally 3 subshells are possible. 3s subshell has 1 orbital, 3p subshell has 3 orbital, 3d subshell has 5 orbitals. Totally how many orbitals are there? 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 1, 9. 9 orbitals are present. But here one important point is, first the electron goes to the 3s subshell. After fill the electrons in 3s subshell, then goes to the 3p. After 3p, the electron goes to the 4s, but not which one? 3d. That's why, so here the 3d orbital, okay, are not filled with electrons. So where it is filled? After 4s. That's why, so 4s means we go to definitely fourth period. And so the elements, okay, with the electrons filling in 3d orbital comes in fourth period, but not in which one? Third period. So that we need to be taken into count only 2 subshells. What are that? 3s and 3p. 3s is having the 1 orbital, 3p is having the 3 orbitals, totally 4 orbitals. So 4 orbitals, okay, maximum can accommodate 8 electrons. So that 8 elements are present. Same like the second period, in the third period also 8 elements are present. So in the second period, where does it end? Z is equal to 10. So definitely in the third period it starts from Z is equal to 11 and end with Z is equal to 18, because 8 elements. So here in the third period it is corresponds to n is equal to 3. If n is equal to 3, the 3 subshells are possible, 3s, 3p and 3d. But the 3d is does not taken into the count, because the 3d orbitals are filled after the 4s is filled. When 4s is filled in the fourth period. So that's why the 3d orbital does not taken into the count. Only we can taken into the count of only 2 subshells, 3s and 3p. 3s and 3p subshells having completely 4 orbitals. These 4 orbitals can accommodate maximum 8 electrons. So that's 8 elements are present. So these 8 elements are in that one. First element starts with atomic number Z is equal to 11 and end with an atomic number Z is equal to 18. So the second period and third period has same number of elements, that is 8. Then goes to the elements of the fourth period. So same like in the third period, here if n is equal to 4, the number of L values are possible 0, 1, 2, 3. Totally 4 L values are possible. If n is equal to 4, L is equal to 0, 4s. If n is equal to 4, L is equal to 1, 4p. If n is equal to 4, L is equal to 2, 4d. If n is equal to 4, L is equal to 3, 4f. Totally 4 subshells are possible. But in that, out of the 4 subshells, 4d subshell filled with electrons after 5s. So that's why the 4d does not taken into the count. 4f orbitals are filled after 6s, and that means the 4f orbitals filled with electrons elements are comes under which one? Sixth period. Till that it does not taken into the 4f, and that means we are neglecting here 2 4d and 4f. Again we are taken into the count of only which one? 4s and 4p. But here important point is between 4s and 4p 3d comes, because we know very well energy level diagram for multi-electron atoms. After filling the 4s orbital, next 3d orbitals are come. So that's why in between 4s and 4p 3d. But we are neglecting which one? 4d and 4f. Totally, so the number of subshells filled in the fourth period are 3. What are that? 4s, 4p and 3d. First we fill up the 4s, after that 3d, then after we fill up the 4p. So totally 4s, 3d, 4p, 3 subshells filled with electrons in the fourth period. 4s subshell has 1 orbital, 3d subshell has 5 orbitals. Okay, the 4p subshell has 3 orbitals. Totally 9 orbitals are available. Each orbital can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. 9 orbital can accommodate maximum 18 electrons. 9 into 2, 18 electrons. So that in the elements, the number of elements present in the fourth period are 18. So the number of elements in the fourth period are 18. By filling the how many orbitals? 9 orbitals, of which subshells? 4s, 3d and 4p. So in the previous third period, so where does it end? It ends at atomic number Z is equal to 18. So that's why in this period the elements starts from Z is equal to 19 and ends with Z is equal to 36. So 19 to 36, how many elements are? 18 elements are present. In that, first the 2 electrons enter into the which one? The 4s subshell, that is 19 and 20 atomic number. After that filling the 4s orbital, next the electrons are enter into 3d subshell. At what atomic number the 3d orbital fill starts? Z is equal to 21 and ends with Z is equal to 30, because the d subshell maximum can accommodate how many? So 10 electrons. That's why 21 to 30 3d subshells filled with electrons. After that 31 to 36, okay, the 4p orbitals are filled. So like that, this period consists of totally 18 elements. It starts from the atomic number 19 and ends with 36. 19 and 20 electrons are enter into the 4s subshell. After that 21 to 30 electrons are enter into 3d subshell. Then 31 to 36 electrons are enter into the 4p subshell. This is about the fourth period. Then go to the fifth period. So same like the fourth period, here also if n is equal to 5, the number of subshells are possible also 5. 5s, 5p, 5d, 5f, 5g. Okay, the 5f, 5g and 5d does not taken into the count. Why? Because 5d orbitals are filled after the 6s. That's why it does not taken into the count of the 5d. If 5d is not taken into the count, 5f and 5g also will be not taken. Only we can taken into the count of fifth subshell, which one? 5s and 5p. But between 5s and 5p, so the 4d orbitals are coming, just like in the fourth period. In the fourth period, between 4s and 4p, 3d orbitals are there. So here between 5s and 5p, 4d orbitals are there. Totally the 3 subshells filled with electrons in the fifth period: 5s, 4d, 5p. 5s subshell has 1 orbital, 4d subshell has 5 orbitals, 5p subshell has 3 orbitals. Totally again 9 orbitals. These 9 orbitals okay, filled with electrons, maximum of 18. So that's why the fifth period is also consist of how many elements? 18 elements. So in the previous fourth period ends with 36. Now it starts at atomic number 37. So that 18 elements are, okay, from atomic number Z is equal to 37 to Z is equal to 54. The first two electrons, 37 and 38th electron, is enter into the 5s subshell. After that, the 39 to 48 electrons are enter into the 4d subshell. Then 49 to 54 electrons enter into the 5p subshell. So like that, in this period, 18 elements are present. It starts from 37 and end with 54. So that fourth period and fifth period contain the same number of elements, that is 18. Then goes to the elements of sixth period. Here, if n is equal to 6, so the number of subshells are possible 6. 6s, 6p, 6d, 6f, 6g, 6h. But we need to be neglect here 6d, because 6d comes after 7s. So that's why 6d neglected. Then once 6d neglected, automatically 6f, 6g, 6h also will be neglected. Again here 6s and 6p. But between 6s and 6p, first 4f orbital comes, after that 5d orbitals are coming. So that means these elements of the sixth period are by filling the electrons in 4 subshells. What are that? 6s, 4f, then 5d, then 6p. So totally 4 subshells. 6s subshell consists of 1 orbital. After that, electrons are entered into 4f subshell. 4f subshell consists of 7. Then after that 5d. The 5d orbitals, the 5d subshell consists of 5 orbitals. Then electrons finally enter into 6p subshell. It consists of 3 orbitals. 6s 1 orbital, 4f 7, 7 plus 1 8. After that d 5, 13, and 6p 3 orbital. Totally 16 orbitals are available. The 16 orbitals can accommodate maximum 8 electrons. Sorry, 32 electrons. 16 into 2, totally 32 electrons are maximum can accommodate. 32 means 32 elements are present. That means in the sixth period 32 elements are present. So now, where does it end in that fifth period? Z is equal to 54. So that now it starts from atomic number 55 and ends with atomic number 86. Totally 32 elements are present. So here, first the electrons are enter into the 6s subshell. That is 55 and 56 electrons are enter into the 6s subshell. After that, 57th electron is enter into the 5d orbital. Then 58 to 71 electrons are enter into the 4f subshell. After that, 72 to 80 electrons enter into the 5d orbitals. Then 81 to 86 electrons enter into the 6p subshell. Here one exception is there. That is, again you can concentrate. Again I will repeat. In this period 16 orbitals maximum accommodate 32 electrons, so that 32 elements are present. In the fifth period, the last element atomic number is 54. So that in the sixth period starts with an atomic number 55 and ends with 86. 55 to 86. Totally 32 elements. First, the electron is enter into the 6s subshell. which electrons are enter into the 6s subshell? 55 and 56th electron are enter into the 6s subshell. Then what is the next one? 57. After 6s, which is energetically less among the 4f, 5d and 6p? 4f. But instead of the 57th electron is enter into the 4f subshell, it is enter into the 5d subshell. Only one 57th electron. After that, 58th to 71 electrons again enter into the 4f subshell. Then 72 to 80 again the electrons are enter into the 5d subshell. Then 81 to 86 electrons are enter into the 6p subshell. That means 55, 56 enter into the 6s, 57, 72 to 80. 57th electron. After that again 72 electron. 72 to 80. 72, 73, 74, 75 like that till up to 80. So totally the 10 electrons. That means 57, then 72 to 80. Totally 10 electrons are enter into the 5d subshell. But between 57 and 72, what is there? 58 to 71. Those electrons are enter into the 4f subshell. Then 81 to 86 are enter into the 6p. That means 55, 56 6s subshell, 57 5d subshell, 58 to 71 4f subshell, 72 to 80 again 5d subshell, 81 to 86 6p subshell. Like that the electrons are enter into the different subshells orbitals. Okay, fine. Here whatever that 58 to 71, so the electrons are enter into the 4f subshell, they are called lanthanides. The elements from the atomic number Z is equal to 58 to 71 are called lanthanides. These are also called as inner transition elements. So this is about the sixth period. Sixth period is consist of 32 elements. So here the electrons are enter into the which subshells? 6s, 4f, 5d and 6p. It starts with an atomic number 55 and ends with an atomic number 86. Here the atomic number from 58 to 71, the electrons are enter into the 4f subshell. They are called as which one? Lanthanides, which are present at the bottom of the periodic table. Okay. Then go to the elements of the seventh period. It is same like the sixth period. So now if it is n is equal to 7, 7 subshells are possible. But out of the 7 subshells, okay, only the 7s and 7p orbitals are taken into the count. The rest of the orbitals are coming in the next two periods. But in between 7s and 7p, so 5f subshell and 6d subshell is also present, because after 7s energetically, okay, next to the 7s is 5f, after that 6d, then 7p. Again same like the sixth period, here also the 4 subshells are there. 7s, 5f, 6d and 7p, having the totally 16 orbitals. This 16 orbital maximum can accommodate 32 electrons. So that's why the 32 elements are possible. Now same like the sixth period, here also 32 elements are present. Okay, fine. Then where does it end in the sixth period? 86. So that it starts with which atomic number? 87. So it starts with atomic number Z is equal to 87 and the 32 elements, that is ends with an atomic number 118. So totally 32 elements are present. So these 32 elements are possible by filling the electrons first 7s, 5f, 6d and 7p subshells. Okay, 87 and 88 electrons are enter into the first 7s subshell. After that 89th electron, like in the sixth period, here the 89th electron is enter into the 6d instead of which one beta? 5f. There also the 70, first 50 7 electron is enter into the 5d orbital. Like that here also 89th electron is enter into the 60s, okay, orbital. After that 89 to 104 again filled with the which one, the 6d subshell. After that, okay, the last 6, that is from 113 to 118, it fills with the 7p. So that here don't confuse, just it starts from the atomic number from 87 and ends with which one, 118. First 87, 88 electron is enter into the 7s subshell. Okay, clear. Then 89th electron is enter into the 6d subshell. Okay. After that 90 to 103 is enter into the 5f subshell. Then after that 104 to 112 is enter into the, so simply again 6d subshell. Then 113 to 118 electrons are enter into the 7p subshell. Once again I will repeat. It starts from atomic number 87 to 11, ends with 118. 87, 88 is enter into the which one beta? 7s. Okay. Then after that 89th electron is enter into the 6d subshell. Then 90 to 103 is enter into the 5f subshell. After that 104 to 112 electron is enter into the 6d subshell. Then 113 to 118 electrons are enter into the 7p subshell. So like this, the electrons are filled in the 4 subshells 7s, 5f, 6d and 7p. Totally 32 elements are present. Here the from atomic number 90 to 103, that electrons are enter into the 5f orbitals, they are called as actinides. There 58 to 71, okay, here 90 to 103, 58 to 71, okay, electrons are filled in the 4f orbitals, they are called as lanthanides. Here 90 to 103, okay, electrons are enter into the 5f subshell. So these elements are called as actinides. Both these lanthanides and actinides are, okay, obtained by filling the electrons in the 4f and 5f orbitals respectively. Both these lanthanides and actinides are present at the bottom of the periodic table. Okay, so finally this 7th period is also consist of 32 elements, just like the which one, 6th period. So here in the first to 7th period, okay, every period can starts with a new principal quantum number. Okay, so the different number of elements will be present in the, okay, different periods. In the first period only the 2 elements are present. What are that? So hydrogen and helium. So it starts with an atomic number 1 and ends with an atomic number 2. Then go to the second period. In the second period the number of elements are present is 8. So it starts from the atomic number 3 and ends with an atomic number 10. In the third period it starts with a new principal quantum number 3. Here also the 8 elements are present. That starts with an atomic number Z is equal to 11 and ends with Z is equal to 18. And comes to the next, go to the fourth period. In the fourth period the elements starts with an atomic number Z is equal to 19 to Z is equal to 36. Totally 18 elements are present. Then goes to the elements of the fifth period. So here also the 18 elements are present. It starts from the atomic number 37 to 54. Then elements of the sixth period, here 32 elements are present. It starts from the atomic number 55 and ends with the atomic number 86. Like the sixth period, in the seventh period also the 32 elements are present. It starts from the atomic number 87 to 118. So this is about the different periods 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in each period the different number of elements are present. In first period 2 elements, in the second and third 8 elements present. Okay, in the fourth and fifth 18 elements are present. In the sixth and seventh 32 elements are present. The shortest period is the first period. The largest periods are the sixth and seventh period. Then go to the groups. In the groups are vertical columns in the periodic table are called groups. Totally 18 groups are present in the periodic table. Okay, these are named according to the IUPAC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Out of these 18 groups, 2 are extremely present on the left hand side. So 6 are present extremely right hand side. In the middle, the 10 groups are there. Totally 18 groups are there. All the elements will be fall under these 18 groups except lanthanides and actinides. So in the lanthanides and actinides are will be present at the bottom of the periodic table. So we can detailedly discuss the groups in your coming semesters. Individually we can discuss each and every group elements and their properties. So this is about the long form of a periodic table. So this long form of a periodic table consists of periods and groups. 7 periods are there. Okay, 18 groups are there. Each period can be starts with a new principal quantum number, that is n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. The first period is consist of 2 elements, second period is consist of 8, third period is consist of 8, fourth and fifth is consist of 18 elements, sixth and seventh is consist of 32 elements. But where it comes to the groups, okay, there are 18 groups are there. Out of the 18, 2 are extremely present left hand side, that are they are 1 and 2, and the 6 are extremely present on the right hand side. There starts from the 13 group number to 18th, and the remaining the 3 to 10 are present in the middle of the periodic table, and the two group of elements, lanthanides and actinides, are present at the bottom of the periodic table. So in the coming next class we discuss the how to classify the elements into the different blocks. Okay, you might be familiar as P, D and F block elements, and there are some more classifications also there. So that is I will discuss in the next class. Just to go through this material, I think this is the syllabus was not included in your current semester. Okay, so just you can learn how many periods, how many groups, what are the elements, from which atomic number to which atomic number. So in each period the elements are present. That is try to get a grip on that long form of periodic table. So thank you very much.